بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم نسألك علما نافعا رزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا اللهم نسألك هدى وتقى العفاف اللهم نسألك تب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم ثم ما بعد. We continue with the famous book Riyadh-us Saliheen, Gardens of the Righteous, pardon me, by Al-Imam Al-Muhaddith Imam Al-Nawawi rahimahullah. We'll only mention a few portions of this chapter, maybe 10-15 minutes inshallah ta'ala every Thursday night, and we begin with the Kitab Wujub إحضار النية في كل أعمال والأقوال بارزة وخفية, where the Shaykh he mentioned the first chapter in his Gardens of the Righteous, which is a book compiled of verses and hadith, verses from the Quran, a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam around the issue of akhlaq, manners, around the issues of ibadat, acts of worship, around the issues that will allow the Muslim to enter by the permission of Allah Ta'ala the Jannah of Allah Azza wa Jal. That's why it's called Riyadh-us Saliheen, Gardens of the Righteous, things that the righteous should be doing to obtain the Jannah to Na'im. So the Shaykh, he mentioned the first chapter, the chapter of the obligation of having present that which is openly done, your actions, and that which is internal, such as taqwa, piety, such as khashya, having humility to Allah. Any action that's open or hidden, having a niyyah. And here the Shaykh, he mentioned jamil a'mal, but here what's meant is actions of worship, things that you do that are commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be done by his command, and those things must have a niyyah. So Shaykh would explain what's meant by this chapter, rahimahullah. In the beginning, the Shaykh, he mentioned the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Bayyinah, where Allah said, as we heard in the Salat, وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. So the highlight here is mukhlisina, ikhlas, which means you do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned وَمَا أُمِرُوا, and Allah has not commanded, showing that if it's a command, then you must do that thing for Allah. You cannot do it for Allah and for a prophet. You cannot do it for Allah and for the people. It must be done solely for Allah Azza wa Jal. So here the highlight is ikhlas. Then the next verse, which that's Surah Al-Bayyinah, Imam Al-Nawawi, he cites the verse where it said, Al-Tabarak wa ta'ala kufli kitab al-kareem la yanalu Allah luhumaha wala dima'aha walakin yanaluhu taqwa minkum. That the slaughtering doesn't reach Allah. Like when you slaughter, you distribute meat to people. Allah doesn't get any of that meat. What reaches Allah is the thing that's the taqwa of a person. And we understand the taqwa is in the heart of an individual. The taqwa is the consciousness and the fear of disobeying Allah and being punished, and the thing that drives you to do right. Tayyib. So Allah wa ta'ala firstly mentioned ikhlas, so tabayyana. The Shaykh, he mentions that. Then he mentions taqwa here, and showing that these actions here are actions that are worship. They are actions of ibadah, meaning Allah told you to do it, He's pleased with it, He loves it, and He'll give you reward. Then he mentioned the Surah Ali Imran, the statement of Allah wa ta'ala, when He said, in tukfu ma fi sudurikum. The highlight here, shahad min hada sudurikum, in your chest. In tukfu ma fi sudurikum aw tubaduhu ya'lamuhu Allah. If you manifest what's in your chest, or you keep it in your chest, who knows it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these three verses the Shaykh Imam Al-Nawawi he brought, and Shaykh Uthaymeen in his explanation he mentioned that these are proofs that mahal niyyah al-qalb, لا على اللسان بل هو في القلب. That the place for intention is in the chest based upon these verses. Because you have ikhlas, then you have the issue of taqwa, and you have Allah clearly saying what you conceal in your heart, or if you manifest that thing, Allah, He knows it. And these are actions that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala have mentioned. And the Prophet ﷺ, he used to, barakallahu fikum, make the wudu for salah. ولكن ما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم إني نويت أن أتوضأ. He didn't say, oh Allah, I'm aiming to make wudu. ولا قال اللهم إني نويت أن أصلي. He didn't say, oh Allah, I'm getting ready to make the salah. وما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم إني نويت أن أصوم. Oh Allah, I'm planning now to make the fast. La, he didn't do that. And we understand that the niyyah must be present the night before the fajr of fasting. But this is in the heart. I mean, you must decide, this is the fast of Ramadan. This is not Yom Ithnain and Khamis. Even though you're fasting on Ithnain, meaning a Monday, you're fasting on Khamis. You have to distinguish inside, this is Ramadan. I have no option, I have to fast, except I have an excuse from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the legislation. And likewise, from the issue of Hajj, some people think, well, we say, Labbaik Allahumma Hujj, Labbaik Allahumma I'tamaru, Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, La Sharika Laka Labbaik. Isn't this niyyah on the tongue? La. This is talbiyah. This is like a dhikr. And there's a statement, lastly, that the people attribute to Imam al-Shafi'i. Some of them say it's in his famous book of fiqh called Al-Umm, where he mentioned that the niyyah is on the tongue. But rather, we searched this book and we didn't find this statement of Imam al-Shafi'i. Rather, we find that this statement about Hajj, the ulama they mentioned, is called maf'ul mutlaqan. Maf'ul mutlaqan, meaning something that is described as a characteristic of something. If you say, Allahumma inni hujj hajjan, then this is just showing emphasis on the thing and not that you're making an intention on the tongue. Or some of the old school people from the Muslims who converted, they used to stand and say, oh Allah, I intend to pray 4 raka'ah today, Tuesday, January the 9th at 12 o'clock, Allahu Akbar, like this, literally, like this. And they say, you have to do this as niyyah, brother. La, mahal niyyah barakallahu fikum fi qalb. And this is what Imam An-Nawawi started with in the beginning of this book. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our intentions purely for Allah's sake. We ask Allah wa ta'ala to make our intentions correct. We ask Allah to reward us for the good intentions and forgive us and keep us away from bad intentions. And we ask Allah wa ta'ala to make our actions in accordance with that of good intentions. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala rasulihi al-kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallama tasliman kathira wa akhir da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Any questions or comments or corrections? Jazakumullah khair. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.